Howdy, folks. I'm a notorious nose-picking ninja,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. But before we begin, you might be wondering, Brian, that's pretty gross. Where did you come up with that one from? Well, you folks, you see, I heard that ChatGPT was all the rage today. It's a AI and it does stuff for you, right? It does your heavy, hard thinking, and I decided that thinking about catchphrases was too hard for me now. So I fed a bunch of my old catchphrases into ChatGPT, and I was like, give me a catchphrase. And it decided that of all the essence that I've provided it with, that a nose-picking ninja is what I am. So folks, I guess, according to the AI, I'm a nose-picking ninja. So let's get started. Alright folks, hang on to your seats. We've got a great show. We've got a kind of wholesome one and an update to yesterday's story. So hang around for at least story 2 and we'll get an update. So let's get started. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Serving Ham on Christmas? I'll start this off by saying that I was born and raised a vegetarian. I've never eaten meat, let alone learned how to prepare it. My husband and I are newly married and recently bought our first apartment. It's small, but it's ours. And it's across the road from his place of work, which is a huge bonus since he's often on call. Well, per his family's tradition, the most recently wed couple hosts Christmas dinner. I initially tried to offer it to my sister-in-law as she wanted to host it the year previously, but my brother-in-law married 2 months after her before Christmas, so she never got the opportunity. Additionally, we are a vegetarian home and our one-bedroom apartment isn't ideal for hosting. What's wrong with a one-bedroom apartment for hosting? While my sister-in-law was thrilled, the rest of the family insisted that we had to host. I was told that as long as I got food for everyone, then it would be fine. Well, here's where I imagine that I might be the jerk. I misunderstood. I thought this meant that as long as I had enough food for everyone and made sure to accommodate food allergies, that they would be happy. Christmas Day, my husband had to work until 4 p.m., so I was left preparing dinner alone. But I still put together a feast, including a plant-based roast. People started coming over and even commented on how delicious everything smelled. Once my husband arrived, he greeted the family and joined me in the kitchen for finishing touches and taking everything out to the table. The family began to gather and a few people commented on how good everything looked until father-in-law asked, well, where's the ham? My husband explained that I wasn't comfortable cooking meat, especially ham, since undercooked pork can be especially dangerous, and that instead, we had a plant-based roast alternative, and father-in-law proceeded to make remarks about how they drove 4 hours for plants. Even after the people who made positive comments changed their mind and talked about how it was missing something, etc. At one point, mother-in-law said that she wished that sister-in-law had hosted. My husband snapped and told them to stop disrespecting the meal and myself since I worked so hard on it. Mother-in-law argued that I disrespected them by not respecting their dietary choices, and that she believed that she was clear when she told me to prepare food for everyone. My husband told her that if she was going to continue to be disrespectful, then she could leave. After everyone left, my husband has been getting texts since about how selfish we were in ruining Christmas and probably the last father-in-law would be around for. I felt horrible since he's in the middle of all this. This was my mistake, but at the same time, I was clear that we are vegetarian and that I didn't even want to host. I guess that I'm looking for an outside perspective. Am I the jerk? An edit to add, for the people asking if his family was aware, we had just had a fully vegetarian catered wedding 4 months ago, so yes. And edit 2, I'm French Canadian, and ham wasn't the best translation. The better translation is cottage roll, which is a fully raw roll in the store. So thank you to this person for mentioning that. Update. Brother-in-law apparently frequents Reddit quite a bit and found this post, shared it with my in-laws, and they read it over as well and many of the replies and called me directly. All calls and texts up to this point had been to husband, and actually they apologized, and I'm still in shock. They want to meet somewhere, even suggested that I could pick a vegetarian restaurant and have a talk and extend their apology in person. I'd be lying if I didn't admit that my guard is up, but I'm doing my best to be positive and go into this with an optimistic attitude. Thank you to everyone who left kind words. I was sobbing as I made the original post, and the reassurance meant the world to me. Merry Christmas to all who celebrate, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the holidays. Rosie. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. You first of all got voluntold to host, and it's your home. You get to dictate what kind of foods come into your home, and you were voluntold on top of that. Like, why would they just assume that you would make all the foods exactly as they would make them?
Well, I mean, I have a little bit of a different take on this one. She clearly didn't provide food for everyone because she didn't provide any of the ghosts with the food. And that right there is problematic. You need to provide ghosts with food, spirit food.
Did you feed ghosts on Christmas?
Yeah, of course I did. Every Christmas I feed the ghosts.
Then why are they always knocking things over in our house?
Do you think they would be knocking things over less if I didn't feed them? My feeding ghosts is the only thing keeping them from wrecking our house entirely, Amber.
But in seriousness, like, Opie, I don't think you did anything wrong here. I think they did not communicate to you what their expectations were. They just were like, make sure there's food for everyone, which you took to mean make sure there's enough food for everyone. And I think that's a reasonable take.
I do too. And especially knowing that you are vegetarian, they didn't articulate that they want a meat dish there. They knew that you had a vegetarian wedding, and from what I read in the comments, basically they brought a roast themselves, so they didn't bring meat to the wedding. They just brought their own food in. So it just seems like they were aware of this, and I think OP was kind of expecting the same thing, that if they really wanted meat, then they would have brought their own meat dish.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't a thing of like dietary restrictions either. Like, it's not like they have to have meat at every single meal. And so...
Yeah, but, I do understand where they're coming from a little bit here, because some people just can't eat things that are plant-based. Just ask that guy who recently got busted for those steroids. I don't remember his name. I don't think it's YouTube appropriate, but I think he has a YouTube channel. It's not YouTube appropriate for my channel. Let's put it that way. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, we're going to skip right over the comments and get to the update, because I'm sure you've been waiting with bated breath to know the resolution of the Elf on the Shelf tragedy. So let's dive right into that. This one was just yesterday, so summarize. OP's husband is a terrible person and likes to bully children. He just gets his kicks out of bullying children.
And blaming it on the elf.
And blaming it on elves. Like, the only thing stopping him from torturing children all year long is an elf. Edit. Hi everyone. So the response has been really overwhelming. I'm sorry if it took me some time to answer. I was kind of avoiding this post since I was conflicted by the possible outcome. I'm going through all of your comments so I can answer some of your questions. I'd also explain things that anyone has any doubts over. 1. Andy's dad is from Canada. He visits Andy every spring, summer, and on Christmas breaks. This year, he has stayed for his job, so he isn't an absent parent. 2. After Andy's birthday, I told Miles to get out of the house, and so he did. He spent Christmas with my in-laws. I stayed with the kids, and all of them slept in Andy's room. My kids didn't want to leave his brother alone. The next morning, we opened up some gifts, and I made sure that Andy could feel special what happened on his birthday. So I wrote a note from Bob saying that he is sorry if he scared him and his siblings, and that he didn't do his job correctly, so now he would be flying to the North Pole with Santa. And when he asked if Santa still remembered the kid of Christmas, he did. Santa was really happy to see him. My kids and I are okay. We are sleeping at my parents' house, and we are going to be celebrating New Year's Eve here. And yes, Claire was using the onesie while she was sleeping. My husband took the idea from some TikToks, and no, Andy did nothing to even be attacked by Bob. All right, folks. Well, there's your update. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think this is a positive direction because, hopefully the kids will not be traumatized by elves anymore from here.
Yeah, well, therapy.
Yeah.
And can you imagine? He cut the onesie while she was wearing it. Like, what? What a gross thing to do.
Yeah, well, and Rex the birthday cake, when the kid is, oh, you haven't done anything for me to catch you, so I just have to wreck your birthday cake anyway.
Yeah, like, this is just ridiculous. This guy, I'm glad that he's out of the house because this is just not good. I don't know where he's getting off doing this kinds of stuff, right? It's just pretty terrible. So let me know what you folks think. I'm pretty happy with his resolution, and hopefully they continue on the right course here. So anyhow, take care and good luck, OP. Alright, folks, our last food-related post for the evening, and last post in general, is titled, Am I the Jerk for Snapping After My Boyfriend Said That He Didn't Like My Cooking? I'm a 22-year-old female, and I've been dating my boyfriend, a 23-year-old male, for just under 4 years. Just the other day, he came to my house to hang out with me. My younger brother and my dad are both sick, and so I wanted to make tomato soup for them. I guess it's relevant to mention that my boyfriend hates tomatoes. Like, can't stand them in any way, shape, or form. He'll pick them off his burgers, he won't eat them on sandwiches with tomatoes, etc. So, I was making tomato soup, and I asked him to taste test it for me and to see if it was missing anything. He winced and asked if anybody else could taste it. He said that he would be a biased source since he really doesn't like tomatoes. I told him to get over himself. My family was sick, and I needed him to pitch in. So he complained and moaned, but he tasted the soup before and after I added things. Servings like my kitchen assistant, I guess. By the end of it, he looked like he wanted to vomit. But I still felt like the soup was missing something. I don't know. Maybe his tears. Maybe that's what you were looking for. I asked him what he thought about it, and he told me it was great. He just doesn't like it because of his own personal taste. Something about what he said just kind of made me snap. And I told him to get over himself again. That he needs to just be upfront about whether it's good or not. He shrugged, and then he went, yeah, it's really good. And I said, okay, if it's good, why don't you eat a bowl? And he went, I really just don't like tomatoes. I swear the soup is good. I just don't want to eat it. I was honestly hurt by him after refusing to eat my cooking and saw that I worked really hard on it, and I guess it showed in my face because he went, fine, I'll eat a bowl. As we ate, I asked him if he liked it, and he just went, yeah, with no enjoyment or emotion. And then, after he ate, he said he had to go home and he left. Since then, I haven't heard from him. We usually talk on the phone or at least text a lot, but he's been super dry or non-responsive. So I kind of feel like I messed up here. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think for our misguided OP here? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. Your partner has told you repeatedly he does not like tomatoes. You do not force people to eat things that they do not want to eat.
Well, I have a different take on this one. Ghosts. If she had just cooked the soup for ghosts, then OP would have been fine. She could have had the ghost taste test it.
Like, his tastes do not matter in this context because he's not your intended audience. Like,
Okay.
taste test it yourself.
Yeah, well,
Or have the people who are like even if you're like dad and brother, I know they're sick, but they're gonna be the ones eating it. So like, yeah, their taste may be off, but they're eating it, so it doesn't matter.
Well, here's the thing: is if you're cooking, then your tastes are going to be slightly dulled, and that's just the way it goes, right? And so someone who is kind of hard, it may not be able to taste the same kind of sensory types things, but someone who dislikes soup is going to be, dislikes an ingredient, is going to be far worse of a critic. And like, he didn't want to hurt your feelings, right? This is what this boils down to. He was trying to take the middle ground, or
Like, he was,
take the higher road.
yeah, well, he was so accommodating throughout the entire thing, and you just kept getting more and more demanding.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with people disliking certain foods. Like, nobody loves everything, and he should be able to just not eat certain things because he doesn't like them. It's not an insult to you, it's just not his jam.
It was definitely not jam. It was tomato soup. I think we kind of covered that bit. It's not like he was eating tomato jam here. What kind of weirdo makes tomato jam? So is tomato sauce tomato jam? Let me know what you folks think. So the only way this could have probably been worse is if you had been like, yeah, I really need you to prove that you like this, so eat the whole batch and then we'll cook another one and then you can taste that one too.
I know. It's like, he's repeatedly wanted it out, and you're just over here like force feeding him tomatoes at every chance you get.
Please have more tomatoes.
Like,
more tomatoes for you.
I will not blame this man if he breaks up with you. In fact, he should break up with you if you have this little regard for him that you're like, I'm going to force you to eat things you don't like just to prove to me that I'm a good cook.
Yeah, please do not force your loved ones to eat foods that they dislike for some sick, twisted enjoyment on your part. That's what it seems like. I don't know. I mean,
or like she's trying to bully him out of his dislike for tomatoes. Like, that's not going to make him.
You must like tomatoes. To date me, you must like tomatoes. And once you start dating me, it's impossible to leave. So this is going to have to work itself out. Sorry. I don't understand why he's cold or distant here.
Like, I mean, I'm sure there are things OP doesn't like. How would you like if he force fed you things you don't like?
All right, folks, it is tea time. I have a beverage of choice here, and I hope you do too. And I picked out this tea myself, much like Amber has picked out a monster joke. So lay it on me, Amber.
What do you get when King Kong walks through your vegetable garden?
Well, I imagine you don't get tomato jam, that's for sure.
Squash.
Why? Why King Kong? There could have been any other number. King Kong doesn't even exist.
But they're monsters, Brian.
I suppose so. It needs to be a part of the theme. So R.L. Stein's like, or R.L. Laughing Buddy guy. He's like, let's make it monster related. And I have Earl Grey. What's his laughy funny name?
Jovial Bob Stein.
Bob Stein is going to be my new favorite person to punch down at. He's a rich person. I can punch down.
Well, that's the thing,
Jovial
Brian.
Bob Stein.
Yeah, he's making way more money than you are, so he's doing something right.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't feel bad in the least for making fun of his joke book. It was a good joke. It was a fine joke. It was fine. It was fine. It could have used more ghosts. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you're all having a great Friday. I had to look at the day of the week. Yes. And does that matter? Probably. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
I believe... Oh, wait. Tomorrow... Wait. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be Saturday.
Yeah, live stream.
So the live stream is coming. So we'll see you all tomorrow.